Rain lashed the windows, wind howled. The old diner, a beacon of warmth, buzzed with nervous energy.
Biting her lip.
Annie, the waitress, bit her lip, her eyes darting to the door every time it opened. Each gust of wind sent shivers down her spine. It was a night for stories, she thought, her hand trembling as she refilled a coffee cup. 3 truckers occupied their usual booth, faces drawn. A lone businessman hunched over his coffee, a grim silhouette. Then there was the old man, always there during storms, nursing a cup of tea, his eyes gleaming with an unsettling light.
Hear about the old cemetery on Route 66. They say the spirits rise on nights like this.
One trucker chuckled, breaking the tense silence, his voice a low rumble. He winked at Annie.
Forcing a smile.
She forced a smile, her heart pounding in her chest. The businessman snorted, but his eyes betrayed his skepticism. The old man leaned forward, a smile playing on his lips.
Foolishness. Ghosts are drawn to places of sorrow, not cemeteries.
His words hung in the air, heavy and cold. Annie hurried to refill the coffee cups, desperate to break the spell.
Heard any good ghost stories, Annie?
One of the truckers asked, his eyes twinkling. She shook her head, her throat suddenly dry. The old man, however, leaned back, his eyes fixed on the storm outside.
He began his tale. A young couple, driving on a desolate highway, picked up a hitchhiker. A beautiful girl she was, but with sadness in her eyes. She spoke of a tragic accident, of being lost and alone. Then, as quickly as she appeared, she vanished from the car, leaving behind only a chill and the faint scent of rain.
The truckers listened with rapt attention, their laughter forgotten. The businessman, too, seemed captivated by the old man's words. Annie felt a cold sweat prickle her skin. The diner, once warm and inviting, now felt suffocating, the air heavy with unspoken dread. The storm raged outside, mirroring the growing unease within the diner. The old man's voice, however, remained calm, even soothing, as he spun his tale of the vanishing hitchhiker. He painted a picture so vivid it felt as if they, too, were driving down that deserted highway, the phantom girl by their side.
He continued, his voice dropping to a whisper, with a story of an abandoned hospital, its corridors haunted by the spirit of a man with no face. Driven by morbid curiosity, a group of teenagers decided to spend a night there, their laughter echoing through the empty halls. But their laughter soon turned to screams. The air grew thick with the smell of decay and fear. And then they saw him, a figure shrouded in shadow, its face a blank canvas of horror.
The old man paused, letting the silence stretch, thick and suffocating.
The businessman shifted uncomfortably in his seat. The truckers, their faces pale, avoided each other's gaze. Annie clutched her order pad, her knuckles white.
The old man, his eyes gleaming, leaned closer, his voice barely a whisper as he delivered the final chilling detail. The teenagers were never seen again.
The storm, as if mirroring the story's climax, reached its peak. Thunder rattled the windows, and lightning split the sky. Then, just as suddenly, it began to subside.
The old man, his tale finished, took a final sip of his tea. He rose slowly, his gaze sweeping over the stunned faces. "Good night to you all," he said, his voice raspy but clear.
He walked out into the night, leaving behind a silence more unsettling than any of his stories. The diner, once again a place of comfort, felt tainted, the air thick with the lingering echoes of the old man's tales. And as the first rays of dawn pierced the darkness, Annie couldn't help but feel a chill, as if the ghosts of the stories told were not so easily dismissed.